Hello and welcome to Cupertino Insight. My name is Dorothy Cornelius. I'm the City Clerk for the City of Cupertino and your host for this program. Each year the City recognizes groups and individuals who have made special contributions to the community. These contributions can be in 5 different categories: education, recreation, business, community service, cultural arts, and volunteerism. Let's take a look at a bit of the Civic Service Awards Ceremony held May 4th.
We are here tonight to do something absolutely delightful. We are here to say thank you. The Civic Service Awards program was born just about a year ago, and it was born out of City Council's desire to recognize individuals and organizations in the community that have improved the quality of life in Cupertino. Tonight, those individuals and organizations that we are honoring were nominated by their peers, other individuals and organizations within our community. Those folks felt that the people that we're honoring had made a contribution that is worth our coming together and saying thank you. Incidentally, I looked over the list, and it appears that this is the one and only award that entertainer Michael Jackson will not be receiving in 1984. But I can assure you the other recipients are well-deserved. This program has meant a great deal to City Council. And at this time, I would like to introduce to you your City Council. Let me begin with Mayor Pro Tem Phil Johnson, if you will stand, please. Councilmember John Gatto. Councilmember Barbara Rogers. And Councilmember Reed Sparks. Before I present your mayor to you, as you are coming in, you may have noticed the television cameras. I would like to be able to tell you that this is being broadcast live by NBC and CBS and ABC, but that would be stretching the truth somewhat. Actually, this is a videotape that's being prepared. It's a joint effort in cooperation with United Cable Television Company, the De Anza College TV Center, and the City of Cupertino, and this program in its entirety will be aired next week. At the end of the program, I will give you those times and dates so that you, if you are a member and are hooked up to our United Cable channels, you will be able to see this program again. With that, I would like to introduce to you the Master of Ceremonies for this evening's program, Mayor John Plungy.
Konbawa. I should say that having just returned earlier this week with several of the council members from Japan. Thank you very much, Steve. I wish I had my welcome to all of you coming here tonight, as Steve said, to honor people who helped to make this city great. During the past 10 days, 3 of us from the council and others from the community went halfway around the world to visit our sister city of Toyokawa, Japan. And we were truly astounded by the hospitality, the warmth, and the friendship that was exhibited there and shown to us. But also, I think we can stand proud because as I come back to this community, we see the same warmth, friendliness, hospitality, and particularly the same as we saw in Japan, a dedication of people serving other people, of people serving their community. And this is what the Civic Service Awards are all about. As Steve said, the awards were started last year to give honor, homage, and thanks to the many people who serve our community. You know, day by day we go on, we kind of take things for granted sometimes. And I know sometimes at the council level, and with city staff, we just kind of assume things are going to happen. But I think, as we all know, that doesn't happen that way. It depends upon the hard work of people. And sure, some of us here on the council sometimes get the recognition. We also get the letters and phone calls and things like that too. But much of what we do, or for which we get recognition, is really the work of the citizens of the community. And I think we can be very proud of our community. I'm not going to go into a State of the City address. I did that earlier this year with the Chamber of Commerce. But I think we can, for just a bit, focus on Cupertino. First of all, what I like to consider the beauty of Cupertino. The exterior beauty, and I think days like today, the breeze comes up and clears off a little of the other air. We see those hills, the greenness there, the beauty, the homes, the people there. That's all part of Cupertino. The same time also, I think there's that interior beauty of the people, the diversity we have here. And I think it's one that has been grown and enhanced throughout the years. I've lived in this community now for 21 years. And when I came, it was one way, and I think some of us who have been around a while realize that, and there are many who have been around longer. And the community has changed. And I know sometimes people say, oh, why can't it be like it was in the old days? Well, if it was like in the old days, many of us would not be here to enjoy it. And I think those who have come to our community have enhanced it, and they continue to do so. I think there's a place for all in the community, and I think as a council we have tried to maintain that. We've tried to make some progress during the year in serving you in the community and trying to keep open lines of communication and perhaps an open door. I think television that you see here tonight is part of that. We've tried to bring more information to you and hopefully provide the vehicle by which you can bring information and your comments to us. I've mentioned this before, but I am always very proud of it. I did not start it. I'm happy to be continuing in it. That little magazine that most of you receive, those who are residents, called the Cupertino Scene. I know as we go to conferences throughout California and throughout the country, there are some cities that put out little magazines and the like, but I think ours stands out there paramount, not only in what is presented to you, but there's that nice little thing called the sound-off card at the back that gives you the opportunity to respond to us. And it has become a model for other communities. And again, I repeat to you, we've put it in print sometimes, we do see what you have to say to us and about your community. When those cards come in, city staff goes over them, a verbatim copy is made of those cards, and each of us on the council receives a copy each week of whatever comes in. And if we see the same comments occurring again and again, believe me, we start talking to staff on why those comments aren't changing. So I think that type of communication we are striving for. I am proud of Cupertino because as I go around the country, again, I mention to people Cupertino, and they've heard of us. Granted, sometimes you have to say Apple Computer or one of those, and that brings it to their attention. But on the other hand, there are people, it's nice, flying over to Japan. Mr. Sparks is sitting next to me, he's reading a magazine there on the airliner, and he said, look at this. And there was an article, an ad, and they were talking about Cupertino. And so people have heard of us. We have a reputation, and it's a good reputation. And people who have traveled from other parts of the country and other parts of the world who have visited Cupertino say, you have a very nice place. The Japanese, who come from by the way, Toyokawa is a very beautiful city, a city of cherry trees. And speaking of cherry trees, as you know, we have the 200 in Memorial Park, and today I helped to dedicate 11 more trees. We're growing. The Benihana restaurants were celebrating their 20th anniversary today, and through the Cupertino Nursery, they donated more trees, which were planted around the flagpoles at City Hall. And also what was provided was a scholarship of 1-month study in Japan, transportation being provided by United Airlines for a student who happens to be from Cupertino High School. Susan Kaku was selected, and she will be going over to Japan in the summer. But at any rate, Toyokawa is a very beautiful city, yet the people who have come here have remarked about the beauty that is Cupertino. So I think it's something we can all be proud of, and tonight is indeed a night of celebration. So with those few remarks, I would like to get into the awards themselves and recognize the people who have done so much to make this a very warm, friendly, and productive community. We will be presenting these awards. There is a certificate of recognition from the City Council. There is a medallion that is presented, a Distinguished Service Award, and also our local Assemblyman, Ernie Conyu from the 22nd Assembly District, has also provided a resolution of commendation. The first category is community service. Community service reflects the efforts of a person or an organization that warrants recognition because of their contribution to the quality of life in the city of Cupertino. And this category is the broadest of the 6 classifications. Individual acts, formulation of a program which services the community, or achievements which bring recognition to the city by virtue of the person or organization residing in Cupertino are included in this classification. And so it's with great pride and a sense of thankfulness we'd like to recognize Deputy Stan Bomar. Stan? Iola Hendrickson, please. Please join me in recognizing Louise Levy. Please join me in honoring Carol McDowell. Carol? Our next classification is education, and I would like Councilman John Gatto to join me to present the awards here. Mr. Gatto also happens to be a member of the Board of Directors of the Super Schools Foundation, so I think it's good that he helped pass out these awards in education. Education reflects the efforts of a person or an organization which positively impacts education in the city of Cupertino. Nominees could include, but are not limited to, students, teachers, administrators, citizen parent groups, or classroom volunteers. This award is not necessarily limited to those people and organizations involved in the public school system. The first recipient, Evelyn Batchelor, the To receive the award for the Kennedy PTA Board, would you please join me in honoring Dinah Showman and Tricia Klein. Please join me in honoring Rebecca Marsh. Cultural arts reflects the efforts of a person or an organization that adds to the cultural enrichment of the community, either by individual achievement or the sponsorship of culturally enriching programs in Cupertino. The first recipient, Jack Lindsay. Please join me in welcoming and honoring James Rivera. The business classification is an individual, a corporation, or a professional organization which has been outstanding in their field or achieved some honor worthy of recognition by the community. Nominees need not reside in Cupertino so long as the efforts for which they are being nominated impact Cupertino. Darlene Thorne, please. Volunteerism reflects service to the community for which the individual or group receives no remuneration. The first recipient, Bob Clancy. Bob? Please join me in honoring Morris Fasota. Kay Lowmiller. Please join me in honoring Mary Jane. Recreation is the participation in leisure activities which afford opportunities for citizens of Cupertino to join together for the purposes of recreation. Nominees could include individuals who contribute their time and talents to sports activities, teams which achieve such success as to be recognized by the community, and those who provide recreation opportunities who might not otherwise be able to participate due to physical or financial limitations. That is the general category, and the person we wish to honor tonight is Jack Scott Cheney. The next category of awards really isn't a category, but as you know, nominations are received, and the City Council has asked one representative from each of our commissions to serve on a board to review the applications, to select the recipients, and then if they deem it worthy, I guess you would say, to select certain individuals to receive perhaps a little additional award. This is not to take away from those who have received the awards already, but just perhaps a little extra recognition. You certainly all are deserving of awards. And so the City Award is presented to several individuals this evening. Will consist of the resolution, the like, and then in addition, and this is the first year we are doing this with this particular item, is something that we started last year. Why don't you bring it up here, Steve, and I'll just show it to him. We started actually with the Citizen of the Year Award, and so Cupertino now has its own City of Cupertino Award with our state of California and the marking on the state of the City of Cupertino, and of course the morion, which is our symbol, and the person's name is inscribed. The first Person to receive the award, Richard Beauviger. Hazel Fretwell. Please welcome and honor Barbara Koppel, a very vital element of our community. Please join me in honoring Susan Shear. Just in conclusion, for my part, I would like to thank all of those who were honored this evening. And also special thanks to all those out in the community whose names perhaps weren't submitted, but who serve so well for us. I think more than anything else, on behalf of the city, we wish to say thank you. And on behalf of the council, I think we can say thank you for making us so proud to tell other people we represent the city of Cupertino. Thank you very much.
This feels like Cupertino Academy Award night. It's really been an exciting evening. And with me here tonight are three of the award winners, Hazel Fretwell, Susan Shear, and Barbara Koppel. Now tell me, women, how do you feel about this? Hazel?
Well, I feel a little overwhelmed, especially as they got this beautiful tray from the city. And I bet I'm the only person, my husband and I, that ever bought a car to accommodate a trunk.
So they really do call you the trunk lady.
They really do call me the trunk lady.
I love it. Susan, your kids were really terrific tonight. We really loved that.
Thank you.
You must be
Thank you.
very proud of them.
I'm proud, and I love doing it, so it seems kind of funny to be all this fuss about it, because I just love it. I love it. And
I'm
it's
sure
a
they're
whole
proud of
team
you.
effort. I mean, it's
Yeah.
community effort to put it together, not just one person.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you, Dorothy.
You're welcome. And Barbara, you've been around City Hall many times.
Stirring up a little trouble.
Yeah, we know you for that. We love having you around.
Thank you.
How do you feel about it?
I really enjoy helping with the community. I really do, and that's why I do it. That's why I volunteer.
Oh.
I really care about Cupertino.
All of you are very, very special people, and congratulations.
Thank you.
The entire Civic Service Awards Ceremony can be seen on Channel 30 tomorrow, Tuesday, at 7 p.m., and on Friday, May 11th at 9 p.m. on Channel 3. Here in the studio with me today are Robert Droggee, the chairperson of Cupertino's Energy Commission, and John Heiner, a member of the Solid Waste Advisory Committee, a temporary body formed by council to look into the solid waste disposal problem. By the way, that committee is often called SWAC. When that group made their final report to the City Council, it appeared obvious that the problem is a long-term one, and Council asked each group to come back with their proposal to study a long-term solution and possibly a recycling program for Cupertino. Bob and John, thank you very much for being here today.
I'm glad to be here.
Bob, what is the Energy Commission's proposal for a study?
Well, first I'd like to state that it is currently within the charter of the Energy Commission to study any kind of energy alternatives that have some impact on the city. Recycling is certainly there, and what we were trying to do is we're trying to get things back to normal city type business. If you look at the issues, is that the only thing that is not within the Commission's charter right now is landfill. We have asked the City Council for that additional responsibility because we have been reviewing on the back burner this issue for approximately 3 years now. The proposal is that we have 2 ad hoc committees that report to the Energy Commission. We ask that SWAC appoint 2 members to each of those subcommittees, and that the Energy Commission would appoint the remaining amount of members. However, we would encourage other members of SWAC to participate, and we strongly would recommend that they do because they have the exposure to the problem. We're proposing 2 committees because we know it's a big problem, big job. And I think that SWAC feels that a committee that lasts for a limited period of time, like 1 year, can adequately do the job. The reason why we want the Energy Commission to do it is, first of all, the ad hoc committees would disappear at a point in time, and that the Energy Commission itself would retain the knowledge itself for future years to advise the City Council. We, of course, have proposed a structure, an organizational structure, and to maintain control of this issue, and we hope that that structure meets City approval. Thank you.
Thank you. John, how does SWAC feel about this, and what's their recommendation?
Well, I'd like to start out by giving a very brief historical background for people that are not familiar with this particular problem. SWAC was formed partially in response to the need for a long-term landfill solution, but primarily because of the urgency of dealing with the Bryan Canyon issue. The council appointed us to look specifically into the proposal prepared by the Solid Waste Advisory Board, which is a North County-wide agency.
That was
to use SWEMA, I'm sorry. To look into the proposal was to use Bryan Canyon as a landfill site. The council asked us to examine that proposal. There were a number of additional features, possible use of an incinerator, use of a reprocessing station to pull out recyclables and to pulverize the garbage, and additional details. We spent most of our time examining the SWEMA report. Our conclusion is probably fairly well known now, was that Bryan Canyon in fact was not suitable for a landfill site, and the City Council voted to oppose that. Following that vote, SWEMA was disbanded, and a number of temporary solutions emerged. It appears that Cupertino is going to be using Mountain View landfill for the period of the next 10 to 12 years, but it takes a long time to develop a solution. It's important to start thinking right now about what should be done. We are proposing that basically the committee be continued in its present form, however, possibly with new membership. We will recommend to the council that they do continue a committee with the specific charter of looking into landfill and recycling related issues. We will, however, suggest that since many of the people that are now on our committee were interested specifically in Bryan Canyon and may not be interested in continuing and examining the additional longer-term questions, and also there are people within the community, including members of the Energy Commission, who have expressed an interest in participating, membership be thrown open again, the council appoint new membership, and then we continue. We think that there are several advantages to this format. First of all, it's very direct. You have a committee that investigates the matter and reports to the council, as opposed to committees investigating the matter, reporting to the Energy Commission, which then reports to the council. We think that it's best if the people that do the study directly make the recommendations. The second thing that we're concerned about is the time frame for examination of recycling. The Energy Commission proposal envisions a one-year study on this. We would like to see action considerably sooner than that, as distinct from the longer-term problem where it is perfectly feasible and probably necessary to spend a year examining it. At any rate, the proposal we will make will emphasize the simplicity of the organizational structure. A committee is formed, it studies the matter, it reports directly to the council, then which can adopt its recommendations or take other actions the council sees fit.
Bob, would you care to make any comments on that?
Yes. One of the things I think has to be recognized by SWAC is that if a committee reports directly to the City Council, that report will eventually go to the Energy Commission, and we will have the opportunity to comment at that time. We feel that having the SWAC group report to the City Council directly is unnecessary, and if anything, if there's any perturbations, it might even delay the cycle even longer. I'd like to reemphasize that we have looked at this, and in the past, we know what needs to be done. We know it's a big job, and simply providing a report to the City Council is just a start.
I think our concern focuses particularly on the recycling question. The time frame that we're looking at is perhaps 3 to 4 months to come up with a recommendation. Time is very important in this because of the fact that what we were buying with Mountain View is not a number of years of landfill, but a quantity of landfill. Recycling is important because the sooner we can start pulling recyclable materials out of the waste stream, the sooner we will begin to lengthen the time that we can use the Mountain View landfill. Now, the Energy Commission has had a number of quite important tasks on its plate, and because of that, it is not going to be able to give the same intensity of study, even operating through the subcommittee format, to the question as a specialized committee. I would note, as Bob said, that recycling has been in the charter of the Energy Commission since its inception, which was 3 years ago, so it's not a matter that the Energy Commission has not had an opportunity to look at this. It's had a large number of things to do. This is certainly not a complaint about the excellent work they've done on many matters, but recycling has not been that high a priority. We feel that an intense examination of that is necessary with early action.
Has the SWAC group considered looking at energy generation from the solid waste?
Energy generation is a possibility that was raised by the SWEMA report. We recommended against the particular proposal that SWEMA had, and the fundamental reason for that is that the technology for that is still not proven on a large scale. We did talk to many operators of plants throughout the country, and we concluded because of pollution problems that we should wait and reevaluate it when the technology is better developed.
I'm sure Energy Commission has looked at that.
Yes, we have. Burning is one alternative, but there are other alternatives, and the alternatives that we care for the subcommittees to look at would, of course, include burning, but we also want them to include other alternatives like composting. The other alternative we'd like them to look at is recycling of cardboard, which is very, very an important item in the waste stream in Cupertino, particularly because of the industrial mix. And that's where the major reduction in recycling is going to come. Now, John here says that we should go on with a recycling program. I think we should, and one of the purposes of having a separate committee for recycling was that they could come up with a recommendation shorter than the 1-year period of time. We didn't want to rush anybody into coming up with a very hasty report. We want a good report. We want a report that we can use. We want a good report for one very important reason, is that there is no really effective recycling program in any Bay Area community. They are very expensive. They are a lot of hidden subsidies. We want to put everything out front. We want a good report.
I want to thank both of you very much for being here with us. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay,
and it's been very interesting to me. A unique community effort took place last week. We'd like to show it to you. On April 28, nearly 60 people joined forces to get rid of the milk thistle, which had nearly taken over McClellan Ranch Park. The thistles had grown so large and so great in number that they posed a real threat to other plants and wildlife. The volunteers got out in the field that warm Saturday morning with shovels in hand to remove the thistles. The hand method was chosen over spraying because it would avoid possible adverse effects on other plants and life in the park. The hard-working volunteers were treated to a free lunch consisting of 8 gallons of chili from Chili's restaurant and other items purchased with money donated by Kaiser Cement and by Kaiser Aluminum and Chemical. Entertainment was provided by Bill Oliver and by Cupertino's own senior rhythmaires. The day was a great success, and nearly 50% of the thistles were removed. A good time was had by all. If you're interested in helping out, you can come down and give back to McClellan Ranch anytime. That looks like something you'd want to do if you're physically fit. Speaking of which, here with me in the studio are Sharon Metz and Joan Hahn, who want to talk about physical fitness. Sharon, welcome to Cupertino Insight.
Thank you.
What is National Fitness Testing Week?
Well, May 6th through the 12th has been designated as National Fitness Testing Week. President Reagan has endorsed the program, and it is to test adult Americans across the country and determine their fitness.
What benefits are there for the participants?
Well, the individual that would take the test would be able to compare their level of fitness with other adults across the country. All the statistics from the fitness test are going to be tabulated and compiled, and the fitness participant will receive a card designating their level of fitness.
I see. Now, I know this has something to do with a National Fitness Foundation.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly what is the foundation?
The National Fitness Foundation is a nonprofit, tax-exempt organization that was founded in 1983, and the purpose is to offer educational programs in the field of fitness and health.
I know that Joan is here to demonstrate the 5 exercises that are part of that fitness test.
Right.
Perhaps you could tell us what they are and what purpose they show, and then have Joan do some of them.
Okay, well, there are 5 parts to the National Fitness Test, and just quickly, it's called the 3-minute step test, the sit and reach, the arm hang, the curl-ups, and the push-ups. And Joan is now going to demonstrate the first test, which is the 3-minute step test. And first you take a resting heart rate, as Joan did, and determine the pulse, and then you step up for 3 minutes at a level of 96 beats per minute. Now, this is the most vigorous test that you will do throughout the whole program. So you can see that it's not difficult, it just determines cardiovascular fitness.
I see.
Now, the second test, as soon as she removes that stool, is called the sit and reach. And this test determines flexibility of an individual. And you have 3 tries to reach as far as you can. And you determine, as you can see, Joan is very flexible. So most individuals would not be able to reach that far, but it does determine just how far they can reach. Thanks, Joan. The next exercise that you would do as a participant is called the arm hang. Because we don't have the equipment in the studio, Joan is demonstrating that you would grab a hold of a bar over your head. The arms would be straight, the palms would be away from you, and you would hang. Her feet would be off the floor. And you would hang for as long as you can, and this would determine arm strength, shoulder strength. Okay, Joan, thanks. The next one is the curl up. And the curl up determines abdominal strength. And this is a tough one. We lose this very quickly if we don't use it in our normal lives. And you do the abdominal exercise, taking the shoulders back to the floor each time. You can keep the head off the floor, and it's done for 1 minute. This is a much better sit-up exercise than the traditional sit-ups that we've all known and done for years.
I understand that this actually causes much less damage to the body.
That's true.
Yes.
That's true. Americans have a high rate of back problems, and this helps prevent that. Okay, the final exercise in the National Fitness Test is the push-up. And Joan is now going to demonstrate the woman's push-up. And she has placed her hands directly underneath her shoulders. Her body is very straight, and you do push-ups for 1 minute. This determines shoulder, arm, and chest strength. Okay, Joan. Now, Joan is going to, for the benefit of the public, show them the man's push-up, which is a bit more difficult and one we commonly know. Again, she is placing the hands under the shoulders. The body is very rigid. Thanks, Joan. I know that that's not a fun one to do.
I love it.
The test is $2 participant. All of the funds go back to the National Fitness Foundation. And I might add that each test is 20 minutes long, approximately, for each person.
That is just a sample. Yes, they have to do it a lot longer than Joan had to.
Right.
Sharon and Joan, I want to thank both of you very much for being here today. Anyone interested in taking a fitness test should call 800-FIT-TEST for a local designated place. Many people participated in the Wildflowers and Wine event May 5th, which was sponsored by Cupertino's Parks and Recreation Department. Let's take a look at that. Thanks for watching Cupertino Insight. And now, back to Wildflowers and Wine.